Hi everybody, I am 25 and I have had my fair share of trauma and pain. So today I am talking to you about experiences that turned my world upside down and how I handled them. I know what it's like to deal with hard problems, and I understand that it can be hard to navigate through them by yourself. So hopefully by watching this video, you can avoid mistakes that I've had and can feel more confident when dealing with life challenges. I've dealt with a lot of issues that seemed impossible to deal with, but now I look back at them and realize that most issues are common and that lots of people have them. Heartbreak, financial struggles, challenging subjects in school, or even professors that don't teach well. These types of events made me feel days and even sometimes months where my world was flipped upside down and I had no idea what was going on. My mind would feel cloudy, I couldn't think straight, and in general it was really hard for me to come up with solutions to these problems. So if you are dealing with any of these problems or anything similar to these problems, take a break from trying to fix your problem and spend some much needed de-stressing time with me. Before fixing our problems, we have to understand the gravity of our issue. I've mentioned briefly that these type of problems are things that other people have dealt with. Dealing with a breakup, millions of people. Going through your parents divorcing or even going through a divorce yourself. The divorce rate in America is 40 to 50%. So it's important to know that you are not alone. Yes, you are entitled to your feelings. You are entitled to feel like the world is upside down. But it's important to understand that there's a very big deal between how you feel and the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is that you're going to survive all of these problems. You will survive breakups, divorces, and anything else that isn't life-threatening. And I am no exception. I have gone through my own fair share of pain and trauma, but that's exactly why this is my perspective. I did not want to spend another second towards someone who didn't deserve my time. I did not want to think about the situations that I couldn't change anymore, and I cared more about what I could do after the situation. I learned that I can't handle everything that comes into my life, but I can control how I react to it. I can choose to let a negative event control how I feel, or I can work through my emotions, properly vent, and improve my situation. And I understand that for some people, there are harder life problems than a divorce or breaking up. Losing someone, not performing well at a competition, or doing something that you can't take back. These life issues can be a lot harder because you may be judging yourself for these mistakes. Even if the mistake had nothing to do with you, you may even feel like you could have done something better. That if you just performed a better way, things wouldn't end up the way that they currently are. But what changes in these things isn't the reality of the situation, it's the healing time. It takes longer to reflect on these things and to just give yourself the time for these wounds to heal. But in the same sense, these problems aren't life-threatening to you. So grieve the loss, stay in your room, eat your favorite junk food, but you need to come out of your room one day. And it's easier said than done, but a way that I like to look at it is from the perspective of seeing a friend go through this. If a friend was sad for weeks, what would I do? I would give emotional support, or I would even show up and try to get them out of their room. And that's a no-brainer, right? I should be there for my friend. But I think that's the crazy part. I constantly didn't give the same support that I would have given someone else to myself. And just like the other problems, I feel like other people may be experiencing this as well. I used to take care of other people first, even when I had problems myself. And I go into why we should put ourselves first in another video. So you can watch that for more context. But to stay on track, when I'm dealing with issues now, I put myself first. And it was especially important for me to do this with major life events. When dealing with these events, it can be hard to have the physical and emotional capacity to take care of others. If I tried to help others, I would end up overburdening myself. And overburdening means that I would end up not being able to help the people that I love the right way. The person's issue wouldn't be fixed, and I would still have my own problems to deal with. So that's why it's important to deal with your problems first. You're not doing anyone a solid by putting their problems first over yours. It'll end up hurting people more than you think. Even if you do end up being able to help those people, you'll come back home, you'll be by yourself, and you'll have to face the fact that you still have the problems that you should have fixed a long time ago. So even if you do help people, it doesn't help you in the long run. So how do we deal with this? When I was first trying to take care of myself first, it was hard to say no to people. And so what I'm about to explain is my perspective and my reasoning, and hopefully it makes sense and it makes it easier to say no to things. For one, it is not my responsibility to fix other people's problems. And even if I felt like I wanted to help, I needed to understand that I do not have the capacity to help them. Therefore, I do not have the ability to help. And it was better to tell somebody the truth than to set expectations that I couldn't fulfill. It hurts not being able to help them, but it hurts even more to let them down. A good way that I like to look at it is that I want to work on my own problems so that I could have the space and time to help other people. When I explained my perspective this way to other people, they were never angry at me and appreciated that I gave them a valid reason for not being able to help them in the moment. And overall, it felt easier to say no to people because it didn't feel like I was saying no to not be with them. I was saying no so that I could be with them more. I've heard people say that we should make time for the people that we love, but I don't think that anyone can make time. I had to understand that I can't create more than 24 hours in a day. I can only use those hours differently. What I can change are my circumstances. I can work towards a lifestyle where I work 4 hours instead of 8. That way, I have 4 hours that I could use towards myself or towards helping other people. And that's what I encourage you all to do. To work through your problems so that you have time for the things that you actually care about. We can't think about our dreams when we're constantly thinking about the bills that are due. So the way I see it, we can either never tackle our problems, continue thinking about the bills, end up wondering what happened in the past 10 years, or we can tackle our problems and have a better life. And the beautiful part about understanding that there are people that are dealing with the same problems that I have is also understanding that there are people that have solved the same problems that I have. When I thought about this, it reminded me that it is possible to fix my problem. And I was reminded that if I don't fix my problem, I'll be spending time that could have been used better. Time is something that I can't get back. And I didn't want to spend another second staying in the same life I was in. A life that was filled with sadness and struggles. I also understood that like all great lives that are lived, it takes time to be great. If I wanted to fix my problems, I came to the conclusion that the serious ones weren't going to be fixed soon, and that's okay. For example, I have $200,000 in student loans. I can't get rid of it in a month, unfortunately, and by default, it would take me 15 years to pay them off if I made my monthly payments. But do I want to have these loans for 15 years? Just looming over me and restricting my financial capabilities? No, just because it'll take 15 years doesn't mean that I can't work towards things so that I could speed up the process. I studied to get a better job after my 9 to 5. I created a budget and watched where I spent my money. I took any extra money that I had and used it to pay my loans off faster. And I've been doing this for about 4 years now. And it still sounds crazy in my head to understand that I've been consistent about it for 4 years and working towards clearing these loans for 4 years. Have I gotten closer to paying them off? Yeah. But do I still have a long way to go? Definitely. But I understand what's at the end of the tunnel. Financial freedom, the ability to hang out with friends and family more, and the ability to spend money more freely. I want to get there faster, and I don't want to spend another 11 years having to pay these off. So in particular to this situation, if you're dealing with crippling student loans, know that you're not alone. No pun intended. Know that I'm here doing the exact same things you're doing in order to pursue a better life. Now, if you're having problems that are more complicated, like anything dealing with people and relationships, it may not be as easy as finances. There's no magic number for the energy or time that it takes for you to forgive someone or for someone to forgive you. But I think in the same sense that I don't count the days off to when I'm going to finish my loans, relationships work the same way. We can set goals, aim to make the relationship better, and continue striving towards a life where we get along better with the people around us. Mistakes can happen, and it can be harder to deal with the issues when it has to do with things like cheating and lying. But if you see that they're trying to make a difference, trying to improve, and you still want to be in the relationship, that's the most important part. Then keep working towards your relationship goals. If you don't want the relationship anymore, or it causes you too much pain to stay in it, then don't continue hurting yourself. I see people that don't heal because they stay in their environments. Sometimes space away from the environment is what's needed to move forward. If you feel like you don't have as much freedom as you want and the person you're with isn't giving that to you, give yourself the space that you need. And no matter what the situation is, whether you stay or not, time heals all wounds, but only if you take steps towards healing. You need to decide to let things go and to look towards a better life. And with enough time, you'll be able to get through what you're dealing with. I believe in you, and I believe that you're going to grow to become a much more resilient and stronger person. If you're still struggling to get past difficult life challenges, I offer life coaching sessions where we can figure out how to tackle your specific problems. If you're interested, you can sign up with the link in the description below. If you want to support the channel or you like the video, feel free to hit the like button and subscribe. If you have any questions, make sure to drop them in the comment section. And as always, keep improving, stay productive, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.